What's a show with no bad episodes? The joy of painting. And if there is something bad in the episode, then that's okay. It's just a happy little accident. We create our own world. I want to see Bob Ross teach painting like Gordon Ramsay teaches how to cook. You fucking donkey, it was supposed to be yellow ochre, not cadmium yellow. If miniseries count, then Band of Brothers in the Pacific. Chernobyl. That damn show is phenomenal. Hell of an event that people actually faced. Courage the Cowardly Dog. That show fucking slaps. I was drunk when I made this comment and definitely didn't think people would agree. I still watch it and I'm almost 30. This slab episode. Yeah, I was more of a Billy and Mandy, Ed, Ed and Eddie guy myself. Reaper. We were cheated when they canceled this. Whose line is it anyway? The humor is improv, so it's always fresh. Everything's made up and the points don't matter. Hello everybody. Welcome back to Ask EmKay. My name is Mason. Let's get right into it. Waiters and waitresses of Reddit, which dish gets the most complaints at your restaurant? When I was living in Atlanta, the worst menu item was the shrimp and grits, a common and pretty straightforward southern dish. Ours added crawfish tails and a weird Parmesan sauce. It sounded good, but it just wasn't. Whenever people ordered it, I would try to talk them out of it. Then they would send it back and they would always say, "You were right. I know." Yeah, I'm gonna listen to the waitstaff if they warn me off of something. The only time I didn't is when it was an alcoholic drink that I've had from the place before. I guess a lot of people don't like it, but I do. Anytime there's a carpaccio or seared tuna or ceviche or anything intentionally raw, and there's no winning for the servers. They have to make absolutely sure that the customer understands the meat is not cooked, so either the customer feels insulted because they did read the menu and understands that already, or they aren't going to listen anyways and they send it back and ask us to heat us up. Or they aren't going to listen anyways and then they send it back and ask us to heat it up. Send it back and ask us to heat it up? Piping hot ceviche straight from the microwave. My dad, who's a lifelong Chinese restaurant chef, had someone call the cops on the restaurant after their tongue got tingly numb from Szechuan peppercorn. They told the cops that the food had cocaine in it. I should add that this happened 14 times in the decade he worked at the place. So basically, they're telling the police that they are more familiar with the feel of cocaine than peppercorns. Lol. Fair point. Not when I was serving, but when I worked at Cold Stone and their new monthly flavor was strawberry basil. I forced people to try it before buying it because it was so nasty and a very high majority would complain and want something else. So did anyone actually order it after tasting? Surprisingly, there were a few. There were more though that refused the taste tester spoon and had to swallow their pride eating the disgusting thing. Shrimp ceviche tacos. They had it on the menu for years. People ordering it didn't know what ceviche was, so they would always complain that the shrimp was cold. What's even worse is that the recipe for the ceviche mix sucked. So even the people who liked ceviche would send it back. Any edit suggested to the menu would fall on deaf ears. Was the restaurant bad or just the ceviche mix? Most things on the restaurant menu were pretty good. It got worse and worse as a workplace though. I left around 8 months. Ago. The staff has been leaving in such high volume lately that you'd think the restaurant is about to get hit by a tidal wave. What's the biggest moment of your life? Parachute got all tangled when I was doing my first solo skydive. Scariest moment of my life. For me, it was crashing my hang glider. I was testing a new glider with much higher performance than I was used to. A poor choice of a simple test launch on a beach took me much higher and further than I intended. When I was suddenly over water, I knew I had to turn and crash on the beach instead, so I had a little time to see it all coming. That was probably the beginning of some terrible back pain problems, so it changed my whole life. I slipped and fell outside, tried to stand up and felt bones grinding against bones. I woke up one day unable to feel my foot. In my still tired state, I thought, it's probably nothing. Immediately after I tried to stand up, I remembered, I can't feel my foot. My next thought after I fell was, it's too early for instant regret. I must have slept in a funny position because I haven't had that problem for months now, though it hurt like hell for a few weeks. Edit, I should have been more specific. I could feel my foot, but it was tingling so much that I couldn't feel anything but that. I certainly felt everything that could be expected though when I fell immediately after standing up because my foot just gave and tilted to the side. I was feeling that for days. Having a few relatives die over the years, but when it came to my dad, someone close dying, especially since it happened in front of me, made me realize, death is real, and it never gets better on your happy days. I can understand this. My grandma's passing was completely expected, but seeing her in the rigor mortis stage was a shock. Definitely an death is real moment for me. My left hand got stuck in a conveyor belt during maintenance session. Fortunately, my colleague was there and just in time to trigger the e-stop. If it was any second late, I'd have a hard time playing FPS games. My one thought was, had to anesthetize my first 4 years gangrene patient. Note, for the faint of heart, do not Google that. It's basically a guy's crotch rotting away from infection. Oh god, I'm gonna throw up. Whew. Oh god, just the thought of that. Horrible. I'm a guy, and seeing the state of this guy's testicles were in was the oh moment, as it had a very visceral effect on me. I dry heaved and ran out of the room when they peeled away the dressing and the smell and sight hit me. Puked into the scrubbing area. It was a DOPS performance. It was a DOPS procedure too, and the attending was less than thrilled that the main anesthesiologist bailed out on a patient to vomit. How do they treat this? Cut it away? Also, I read that as euthanized somehow. I don't even want to think about how they treat that. That's gross. I'm gonna throw up after this. I went to the hospital one night because I had a super sharp pain in my ribs and I felt like I couldn't breathe. After some tests, the doc told me my lungs were filled with blood clots and my heart was weakened, and that if I hadn't come in, I would have had a stroke and died within days. At the time I was 19. I was like, oh I still feel shocked sometimes when I think back to it. Seeing a colostomy right after surgery as a student nurse. We were in the bathroom ready to see the stoma, hole coming out of the abdomen. My preceptor removed the dressing and came out of the abdomen like Play-Doh. I was not prepared for the sight or smell. I shamefully puked in the toilet in front of the patient. Good news, she wasn't traumatized. She was great. I've gotten over my colostomy fear and now specialize in wounds, ostomy, continence, in the geriatric population. Props to you, I'm in nursing school and still not prepared mentally. Why are you unfit for the draft? Fat, mentally ill, fat, mentally ill, really mentally ill. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs. Every afternoon I break my arms. At night I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep. Oh, you poor, poor soul. Is there anything we can do to help? Well, there is one thing. As you can well imagine, my medical bills are extremely high, but luckily I'm able to keep myself alive by selling chocolate bars. Chocolate? Did you say chocolate? Chocolate? Chocolate! Chocolate! Asthmatic, very badly asthmatic. Mine is exercise induced. 53 years old, baby. Let's put it this way, if I get drafted, we be f***ed. Imagine. Come to find out they upped the age to 60 years old yesterday. We need whatever we can get. I'm in a wheelchair because my immune system looked at my nervous system and went, I don't think I've seen you around before. Step into my office and beat the out of it. You will work from home doing the drone attacks. Even war accommodates work from home. War from home. Isn't that new Spider-Man movie? I'm too old for the NFL. I'm too old for the NBA. I'm too young for the MLB. I'm too young for the RGB. Nah, I'd go knowing I ain't no senator's son. Gonna salt the earth and let him inherit that. It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one. I don't know I just assume it's country, so I was doing a country accent. Some people inherit star-spangled eyes. Ooh, they send you down to war. What's something ancient that only an internet veteran would remember? Netscape Navigator, Puff, NCSA Mosaic, plus Gopher for the downloads. Sending e-cards on emails for birthdays, taking 6 hours to download one MP3. Old school Jib Jab was the best. I know Jib Jab. That was fun. I did that in middle school. Yes, still remember Blue Mountain greeting cards and thinking, what a great idea. Nobody said hit counters yet. Hit counters. Or sign my guest book. I haven't seen that one either. Hit counters were a must-have for your Angel Fire or GeoCities site, and several rows of animated GIFs or of eyeballs or some and really busy background wallpaper. Prodigy and CompuServe and Earthlink, but I came here to say Prodigy. That was my first ISP at home. Too many clicks. You rapidly blocked and unblocked someone to spam them with online notifications. Bro, you don't want your crush to know you're spamming them with notifications. You have to carefully time it to seem natural. Like you obviously don't want to start a chat with your crush, so you're trying to use notifications to say, yeah girl, I've got another thing happening, but I'm back if you want to cyber. Get off the internet. I need to use the phone. Get off the phone. I need to use the internet. What is something you didn't realize was going to consume so much of your time as an adult? Dealing with office politics and not just at work. Stupid me actually thought that schoolyard bullies, mean girls, etc. would grow up and act, well, adult-like adults. Sadly, way too many adults have the manners and morals of entitled toddlers. Dude, this. I thought people grew up after high school. Not the case. They're still cliquey and people are f***ing more mean about people. Cleaning the kitchen, no matter how many times I do it, it still needs to be done. I love the feeling of finishing the mound of dishes and cleaning the counter or sink. Then I step back and admire my work. Then I turn around to see the pot and pan I forgot were on the stove. Kitchen. Cooking and cleaning didn't consume that much time when I was in college. Now as an adult, what the f*** is this? Also, trying to make plans with friends. Like we could meet up in 10 minutes when we were in high school and college, but now it takes hours to gather everyone and choose a bar or cafe or club to hang out in. My response to this problem, although your mileage may vary, if I want to meet up with one friend, I simply make a plan with that friend. If it's more of a group hang situation, I'll hit up the group chat and say, I'll be at location X from time Y to time Z, and all are welcome. It saved a lot of social pressures to just wait for that friend who will totally be there in 15 minutes. Laundry. No matter how much you hang and fold, there's still more. One of my crowning achievements to date is the time I beat laundry. I had to spend one wash and dry cycle naked, but for a brief time, literally all of the clothes I owned were clean. Menial tasks such as DMV trips, driving, commuting, doctor's appointments, basic household chores. I did as a kid, but as an adult, it seems so much more of an annoyance. Having to pick up groceries or make runs to the store for this, that, and whatever. Fixing broken shit around the house, etc. I think that's why you had to do chores as a kid. Your parents were like, this takes too long. Pawn it off to the children. We'll tell them it's a responsibility lesson or some shit. I'm calling my dad right now. What the f***? That evil genius. And that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Goodbye!